Where are you from? How old is your country? How long will it last? That last question might seem a little crazy. The country you're from may seem as solid as a rock. How could it ever disappear, I hear you ask? Well, I'm here to tell you guys that countries can be a fickle thing. Throughout the course of human history, they have come and they have gone. Will yours be next? My name is Burke, and this is the top 10 countries that won't exist in 20 years. Okay, starting off at number 10, we have the UK. Yes, it's where I'm from. I'm sure a lot of you guys are from there too. The UK is a union of England, Scotland, Wales and Northern Ireland. As long as the union has existed, there have been some people calling for independence from it. In 2014, Scotland even had a referendum on whether to remain part of the UK. The vote was very close. 55% of people voted no to independence. This may have put the issue to bed, but then Brexit happened. The UK voted to leave the EU, with the majority of supporters for it coming from England and Wales. On the whole, Scotland and Northern Ireland didn't really want it. This has spurred up even more talk of them leaving the union. If the union falls apart, then the United Kingdom will never be the same again. Alright, moving on to number 9 now, we have the Maldives. To put it quite simply, the Maldives is disappearing. This tiny nation in the Indian Ocean is said by many to be the first victim of climate change. Rising sea levels have swallowed up more and more of the coral islands. The 2004 tsunami permanently erased 20 of them off the map. Experts say that not a single bit of land will remain there within the next 25 to 30 years. In 2012, the Maldivian government even announced they were looking to buy islands from Australia, Sri Lanka or India to relocate its people there when their own country disappears. What a scary thought. Alright, at number 8 now we have North Korea. This one is pretty obvious. The whole world has been watching Kim Jong-un continue to defy UN sanctions by developing the country's missile system, potentially to the level of nuclear weapons. Now, North Korea has always threatened to attack what it sees as its biggest threat, the United States. It's thought that its missiles can now reach the US mainland. So, will they follow through on their threat? Opinion is divided on whether they will or whether they even can. One thing is for sure though, if they do attack the US, America has promised it will immediately drop the policy of containment and just hoping the government implodes. They said they will just straight away remove the North Korean regime with whatever force is necessary. Moving on to number 7, we have Belgium. This tiny European country has existed in its current state for almost 200 years, but it has not always been roses. The country is deeply divided between the north, called Flanders, and the south, called Wallonia. Flanders predominantly speaks Flemish, while Wallonia is dominated by French. There have been attempts over the years to keep the country unified by being more inclusive to both languages and cultures, but some experts fear it is a little too late. They say the rift is naturally forming two separate countries. In the next 20 years, Flanders and Wallonia could become the two newest countries in Europe. Next up at number 6 now, we have China. Now, unlike some of the other ones on our list, China does have a strong government and a fairly unified people with the exception of Tibet and Hong Kong. Some people believe that a second revolution could be on the way though, because the people of China simply aren't happy with their government. Some parts of China are choking to death. Air pollution has reached almost lethal levels in some areas, with thick smog becoming normality, dragging an estimated 250,000 people a year to an early grave. Now, it's thought that half of China's rivers are so badly polluted that they're totally unfit for human consumption. Governments have to do a lot to keep their people happy. If parts of China can't properly drink or even breathe, how long will that government last? Okay, coming in at number 5 now, we have the Netherlands. It's famous for Amsterdam, windmills and legal marijuana, but the tiny European nation also faces a very real threat, being totally flooded. For hundreds of years, the Netherlands has been building complex dikes and sea barriers to stop its low-lying land from being flooded by the North Sea. Some parts of the country are 7 meters below sea level, that's about 23 feet. They've managed to keep the water out, but they're still struggling to let the water out. When massive storms hit Europe, the Netherlands is usually the worst off. In 1953, a storm left parts of the country 5.5 meters deep in floodwater that they just couldn't release out, and maybe the worst is yet to come. Alright, at number 4 now we have Libya. Libya is not a naturally formed country. It was carved up by Italy along colonial borders that didn't really represent a unified people. It had a very troubled time under Colonel Gaddafi, which eventually led to a brutal civil war in 2011 during the Arab Spring uprising. These days, the country has been torn between rival groups and armed militants who have allegiance to totally different regions and tribes. The central government there is weak, and some experts believe all of this points towards a country that will break apart into smaller groups within the next few decades. Okay, moving on to number 3 now, we have Kiribati. Many of you will have never heard of this country, and that's totally understandable. It's a tiny nation of islands in the Pacific with a population of just over 100,000. If this is the first time you've heard of it, I'm sad to say it may be totally gone in the next few decades. The reason is the same as the Maldives: rising sea levels. The country is also extremely poor. Most of the government's efforts there go into fighting poverty, and the defense against the rising tides amount to just walls of sandbags. The president has even started evacuating people to other countries before it's too late. Alright, next up we have a country you might have heard of. At number 2 we have the United States of America. Right there in the country's name it tells you these states are united. But for how long? Unlike a lot of other countries, the different parts of the US often have wildly different laws and ways of governing their people. This has worked harmoniously for the majority of the country's history, except for a pretty brutal civil war. Some people feel that the north-south divide that tore the country apart there can still be felt today. They say there are deep-rooted political and cultural differences that won't heal until the country splits apart. I don't know about this. I'd love to hear what our American viewers think of the theory. Do you think any states will ever secede from the Union? And if so, how much do you care? And finally at number 1 now we have Spain. Many of you guys might not be aware, but Spain has always been far from unified under the surface. It has struggled with regions wanting independence for many years. One of the most famous examples is the Basque region in the north of Spain. The terrorist group ETA has been killing people in the fight for independence for decades, although they did agree to lay down their weapons in 2011. Other regions fight more peacefully. Catalonia, the area that contains Barcelona, has had an independence movement there for about 100 years. The region's government is about to hold a referendum vote on independence from Spain in September 2017, although the Spanish government has refused to recognize it. Now, if you guys are watching after September 2017, you might know even more than I do. What happened? Also, what country are you from? Do you think your country will last forever? If so, why? If you don't, why not? I'm interested to hear your answers, and I'd love to know if you guys would like a part 2. In the meantime, I'm Burke, thanks for watching, and I'll see you all in the next one.